Welcome back to KTN News Central. I want to talk to our reporter, Mary Moyo, who's keeping tab with a side incident where a man in Shauri Moyo has killed his two children. Moyo, good morning. And it's not a good morning for residents of Shauri Moyo owing to this side incident. Kindly bring us up to date.
Yeah, morning, Zed. Although it's not a very good morning for people for a family in Shauri Moyo that has just lost two children. Now, the sad story goes that the man allegedly put poison in his children's food late Sunday evening, and the kids haven't been seen the whole of yesterday. So this morning, neighbors got suspicious, and then this man went to one of the neighbors and told him that he had been attacked by robbers, and therefore he was seeking help. So that is when the neighbors broke into the house. They found bodies of the two children, the older one who's about 12 years old, and the younger one who's about 4 years old. Now, the man has been arrested. The children have been taken to Shauri Moyo police station. We've come here to Buruburu, where we sought to speak to the OCPD, Geoffrey Mayenga, but he told us that he is so busy. I'm quoting him exactly what he said. He said he's so busy he wasn't able to spare us time. So it's a story that is so sad. We are following up on the story. The neighbors we spoke to told us that the man had been having domestic quarrels with his wife for some time. The wife had left about a month ago. She went home to her place. Now, sadly, Brenda, this woman came back this morning from Western Kenya. She had come allegedly to pick her children, only to find neighbors milling around the house and find the sad news that her children had been killed by her husband. It has also been said by neighbors who were close to the couple that they were planning for a wedding that was to happen last Sunday, but unfortunately, due to the domestic quarrel between the two, it didn't happen.
From what you're telling us, it looks like the reason as to why the man killed his two children, it's because of a domestic, rather misunderstanding that he had with the wife.
Yeah, that's something we are still trying to establish, bearing in mind that the neighbors we spoke to say that this man is really a doting father. Even when the times he's had disagreements with his wife, he never really allowed her to go with the kids. He's always remained with his children. He's been described as a loving father. So people still can't understand exactly what happened. Some have alleged that maybe he had been under depression for some time. Could be the reason he decided to poison his children. We still do not know at this point.
Waki, just lastly, how many days were the children in the house? For how many days?
So his immediate neighbor says that he last saw the children on Sunday after service. The whole of yesterday, the children were not seen. People went where the children go to school. They tried to establish why the kids were absent because it's not something that used to happen, and that's when. That's why it is alleged that he probably killed them on Saturday evening, because that's the last time they were last seen alive. And today morning at around 4:30 a.m., that's when he woke one of the neighbors and said that he had been attacked and someone had murdered his children.
All right, thank you so much, Mary Moyo, for that side report. Two children found dead at Shauri Moyo Estate after allegedly being poisoned by the father. Developing story. We continue keeping tabs with that. But we head straight to 14 Riverside, Dusit D2 complex, where tenants and motorists are being allowed to pick their belongings. And our Shadrach Miti is right there to bring us up to date. Shadrach, kindly bring us up to date with what's happening at the Dusit D2. So far, we understand people are being allowed to pick their belongings. How many people have arrived at the complex?
Well, Brenda, this is day 2 of the exercise. Remember, this exercise began yesterday when people who had offices and other working centers there were allowed to access their offices with a view to collecting their documents and other personal belongings so that they can be allowed to go on with their life, even as other activities, as it was described by the government, that this still remains an active scene of crime. And so it was necessary that members of the public, and especially those who had offices and other businesses, be allowed in to collect their belongings. So today was the day for people who had vehicles to move in and collect their cars. And so from the few we have spoken to, remember, not so many of them are willing to speak, but from the few we've spoken to, they have given an account of how everything is inside there. We cannot really tell how many people so far have gone in to collect their cars, but from the count, they are a good number. And so where what they're saying is the situation inside there, from what they have seen, is as traumatizing as it and as still horrific as it was on the material day when this Dusit D2 was attacked. And so for them, they are saying that for one to go inside there and be allowed to come out with a car or any of his belonging, number one, you have to ensure that you are the genuine owner of the item you are claiming to own, and to confirm that you have to produce and present original documents, including an ID. And if you have a vehicle, then you have to carry with you a logbook to ensure that no confusion and no one is coming to claim what is not theirs. And so they're saying the procedure for one to reclaim their property inside there is as stringent and strict as it can get. And these, they are saying, whereas it may be hectic and a bit time consuming, they are saying they would rather remain patient, but they ensure that the process at the end of the day remains with enough integrity, so that none of the person will claim later that they did not get the items, or maybe somebody else took away with an item that never belonged to them. We have not been allowed to go beyond where we are standing, and so it may not be so easy for us to get a real picture of how the situation looks like. And so we will rely so much on the explanation and the narration of those people going inside there to paint a picture for us, so that we can at least get to know how Dusit D2 looks like after the attack. Back to you, Brenda.
Miti, what about relatives of those who lost their loved ones, the 21 families? How can they pick their property from that complex, property of the loved ones?
Well, just in case, Brenda, you are not able to come to collect any of your item by yourself, then you have to give an authorization, and that authorization has to be in form of writing, and that document that has been written and authored by anyone who owns any item inside there and they are not able to come, has to be genuine and original and subject to authentication. And once that is done and no questions are further raised about the document or the authorization you've issued, then you will proceed to collect. Because remember, for each step anyone moves inside there, they are accompanied by security agencies. And so it's not that you will go inside there and start walking around, because even the movement inside there is restricted. You are only directed to go to where you claim your item, whether it's a motor vehicle is. And once you get to your motor vehicle, you have to undergo a serious vetting and verification process, and once that is done in the presence of security officers, then you are allowed to collect your vehicle and move away. And if you are not there yourself, you have to ensure that the documents you've authored to relegate the exercise of collecting that item on your behalf have to be genuine, have to be original, and have to be subject to serious authentication process, just to ensure that